Welcome everybody to the 2025 Mini Countryman JCW. Now you're probably wondering, another Countryman? Well, the last time I drove the Countryman, that was the Countryman S, which is like the base model if I can say it. But well, it was a very good car, and if you take that good platform and give it the John Cooper Works treatment and pump in more power, well, does that make the Countryman worse? Or does it make it even more lucrative? So if you want an in-depth review of the Countryman, you should head over to that video, because in that video I've thoroughly covered how the new platform is. For this video, I'm only going to focus on the changes that this car has for the specific JCW variant. So what is the Countryman JCW? Essentially, it is the Countryman S that I drove, so which means it's just as practical in the front, in the middle and in the boot, which is always a bonus thing. But this John Cooper Works focuses on performance enhancements. I mean, the Countryman S still had about 250 horsepower, which is not less, but this one has 310 from a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, does have the all-wheel drive, and it just feels much more peppy, but more on that in the driving part. Visually, you do have John Cooper Works badging on the front, on the C-pillar, and just a few more enhancements on the rear as well. You do have the quad pipes and the JCW badge in the rear as well. You do have these 20-inch wheels, which are an option, so you can get them with proper summer tires or all seasons like how this car has. And if you peep through the wheels, you can also see the John Cooper Works specific brake calipers they have in bright red, which I think look very good. Contrasts this red roof and red mirrors as well, which is a no-cost option, so you can also spec this car with black roof and black mirrors. And I think that would contrast really well with something like a white paint, or they also have something like a British racing green. But this red roof and this red mirror, I think works really well with this grey paint, which is also a paid option. The adaptive plate, the cruise control plate on the front, also has a checkered flag, and that's a very small touch, but in the mirror, if you see it, you'll know instantly that this is a JCW. On the inside, the interior is all black, unlike the Countryman S I had, which had a mixture of tan and blue, which actually looked very funky. This black is a bit too simple, but I get it because they had to infuse some red elements just to make sure that people know that this is the JCW edition. The seats are much more stiffer, they have fixed headrest, but they have much more thicker side bolstering, so you are always stuck in your seat if you are pushing this corner on your favorite B road, which I actually just did prior to shooting this video. This rear seats, as I said, is just as practical as the regular Countryman, so it can easily fit me behind my driving position. I'm 5'8". You do still have the only center OLED screen, which has all your information, speed, indicators, trip information, wireless CarPlay, car settings, everything. You do have a heads-up display, which you can see the speed without taking your eyes off the road, but just having that center screen is a bit distracting, and that's the kind of same issue I had in the Countryman. But I would say it's not a deal breaker, because I understand that car makers are always in the quest of making something more funky, something much more cool and evolved over their previous models. Otherwise, yeah, what can I say? I've been living with this vehicle for a week and I absolutely adore it. I love the Countryman S, and I think this JCW is a great addition to the Countryman lineup. And yeah, let's see how this funky little crossover drives. I'm now behind the wheel of the Countryman JCW, so let's get the numbers out of the way. This has a 2-liter turbocharged engine, just like the Countryman S, but that had 250 horsepower. This has 310. It does have the all grip, which is the all-wheel drive terminology in Mini, not the 8-speed ZF, but you have a 7-speed DCT. Let's see how this crossover drives. Slot it into drive and set off, and you'll instantly notice that the car has oodles of torque. You never really have to floor it in any capacity to get to any sort of speed limit within the city or on the highway. It's actually very easy to drive. You'll also notice that you're sitting very high up. So I have the seat in its lowest position, but it's still much higher than I would otherwise sit. I like to sit a bit low down, so it takes some getting used to. The steering is very thick. It's thicker than in the Countryman S. You still have the 2-spoke steering with the string on the bottom, which eventually you get used to. And I like the pattern because it matches the same pattern on the seats and on the dash. But yeah, it starts off in its normal mode, and different experiences, which is the different drive mode. So I have it in green right now. You do have the core, or you have the go-kart mode. You have 7-8 other drive modes like personal, luxury, trail mode, and you can instantly see that in the go-kart mode the car does a bit of a cheer and it instantly drops down a few gears, and the engine noise also gets pumped in. And yes, this is all pumped in. On the outside it's very nominal. And one more thing is that if you actually floor it and a lift off, there are some pops. Now I don't know if the mic is going to capture that, but there are some pops and it's 100% fake. There is not one pop that comes on the outside of the car. So kudos to Mini for somehow tuning the pops to only come from the speaker. It can get annoying at times, but maybe it just helps you feel a bit more enthusiastic when you're pushing this crossover on your favorite B road. But yeah, if I do floor it, it pulls really well. It pulls really well. You do have a lot of torque, and there is no shortage of power in this crossover. You can overtake, you can just maintain good speeds throughout any corner on the highway or anything. In the sport mode, you do have this dial which shows how much torque and how much horsepower you're using. You have a G meter as well. But yeah, it does feel very chuckable. It feels very nimble, and if you do hit some corners, you like the steering. It's a very fast track, and you can make quick direction changes, but I wish that it had a bit more feel. It's a bit vague, like almost all new BMWs, which is a bit sad because the potential was great with the steering rack, but it's still not bad to drive. It just takes some getting used to, that you don't have quite the communication you want, but the rack will still do what you want it to do. So you can chuck around this crossover around your favorite B road. If you can put it back into normal, or if you put it into the green eco mode, and you can see the pumped in noise just dies away, as you like, it's just non-existent in the eco mode. And if you do drive in the eco mode, you can get about 8.3 liters per 100 on the highway. I've been averaging about 10.5 in the city. That does combine a mix of sporty driving and economical driving in the city, which is not too bad. And you can get about 450 to 500 kilometers on a tank combined highway and city, which I think is commendable for a crossover like this. But yeah, it's actually not too bad to drive. It's actually fun, it's peppy, and you can have fun in this crossover while being a practical car, carrying your family and their luggage. So I love the way that this car has that dual personality. So kudos to Mini for making such a great, fun to drive crossover. In conclusion then, the 2025 Mini Countryman John Cooper works. Honestly, the Countryman S was so much fun. I think it drove fabulously well. So when you take that fabulous package and that platform and stuff in even more power and stiffer suspension, well, the car is only going to be more fun. And having driven this very car on some beautiful twisty roads just before coming to this shoot, I can say that yes, this is one of the best handling compact crossovers on sale in the market today. The steering feel could have been better, a bit more tactile. It's a bit too vague, but it's a very quick rack, so you can get used to it and you can adapt to it the more you drive the car. The brakes are fabulous. The engine is so punchy. There's torque for days. All through the rev range, you have all the torque you want. And if you drive it sanely, you can get decent fuel economy as well, which is a bonus for something that is trying to be very sporty. Couple that with the practicality that the Countryman has, and well, it becomes quite a difficult package to beat, and the pricing also makes it sweeter. So this very car has only two options, which is the paint, the gray paint, which is about $600, and the wheels, which are also roughly $600. Add everything, and this Countryman JCW is for $57,600 before taxes. But I think that's great value for money, because for under 60K, you have something that can carry your family in comfort, has all-wheel drive, which means you can winter drive it. Also has that kind of oomph that we can have fun on the B roads. It is funky to look at as well, and well, it does stand out more than its cousins like the X1 and the X2. I mean, if I were in the market to buy one, this might be the option I would choose over any other luxury German SUV.